Hey everyone, Michael here again. Thanks for stopping in on the Archangel 15. Today's presentation is called Crypto Conspiracy, question mark, question mark, question mark. As always, I like to start with a disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor, licensed securities broker, or financial planner. Any information obtained in this presentation is for education and entertainment purposes only. Please do your own due diligence and do not make impetuous decisions. I also want to say that I have absolutely no stake in any cryptocurrency or any affiliated entities whatsoever, and do not plan on taking any long or short positions in either of these currencies as well. One of the biggest self-evident regrets that I have, along with everybody else, is not getting into Bitcoin very early. I remember years ago when it was $60 a Bitcoin, and as many of us know, it soared to over 20,000 and has significantly come off of that level since then, leaving a lot of bag holders. But one of the main reasons I never really got into it is because the whole thing just kind of screams mark of the beast to me. It's like real, I guess, Unitarian, and I don't know where the whole bigger picture was going. There's definitely a lot of mystery with the whole MT Gox thing. To this day, I really don't understand the whole allure and everything surrounding the Bitcoin mining. Maybe some of you out there know more about it and you can tell me. It's kind of mysterious, like I said. Basically, the purpose of this presentation is to start a forward-thinking conversation from an economics perspective. Again, I have no intention to buy any cryptocurrencies, and this is just for basically to get talk going. It's going to be very interesting to see where this all goes, 5 years from now, even a couple years from now. I mean, there's a lot of different varied opinions on it. Will we even be talking about all of this? When we start to talk about currency, we have to start way back. As ancient as I've heard, they used to use beads, gems, metals, or even seeds as a store of value. Thousands of years ago, Japanese rice traders evolved the concept of appreciation and depreciation of overall value. They were also the first that I know to use charting and put a visual perspective to human psychology and kind of understanding various patterns that emerge over time. The Greeks, the Romans, other ancient civilizations have used gold, silver, copper, bronze, you name it, and precious metals seem to be a recurring theme as well. In recent times, the dollar, pound, euro, Japanese yen, and other UAE currencies, as well as the Swiss franc, are pretty much as liquid as gold. Ultimately, a currency is only worth something if it has utility, meaning that someone is willing to give you something or do something in exchange for an allotted amount of money. I personally believe that cryptos lack this essential function necessary for trade to commence. There's also a lot of different various reasons that people would want to get involved with cryptocurrency. Some people want to use it to hide money. Some people want to use it to stay away from a centrally connected bank. Also, some people they want to like I said, use it for a financial or investment tool. It's the $23 trillion in debt that we have. It's kind of another alluring reason as well. It is also interesting to note that the U.S. dollar is basically the standard currency that oil is traded in. Not going to get into gold standard. Like I said, they're talking about oil and Zionist manipulation through the Zionist-controlled Federal Reserve and federal open market policy. But there's a lot that I could go into on that. I have in various past presentations, and that would take up too much time. I can tell you that basically the government does not want anybody to have a lot of money. And it's for instance, years ago I tried to buy a truck for $12,000 cash, I think it was, and the dealership was like, "Oh, please do not bring us cash. We have to fill out paperwork and answer questions, and they want to know where you got it, and this and that, and they'll think you're a terrorist or a drug dealer." And also, I don't know if a lot of people know this or not, but pretty much every bank out there has what's known as compliance officers, which are basically like stitch bitch people that if anybody took a large sum of money to the bank, they would basically start investigating you and look at where you got it and your past history and this and that. They'd probably notify federal authorities and have you on some type of watch list or something. So this all kind of ties in together. Ultimately, I decided a long time ago that I'm not going to take part in any, like I said, unitary form of currency or government that isn't in unison with the Bill of Rights and the Constitution, which promotes freedom for all living, breathing beings. When shit really hits the fan, bullets and guns, food, tools, clothes, seeds are going to be worth pretty much gold. It'll go back to just how it was in the day when, like I said, seeds were being used as a currency, and people will probably end up selling little girls, and it'll get really, really ugly. Your credit card is not going to work. Once again, the Amish seem to have the right idea when it comes down to simplicity, I guess. The whole inception of Bitcoin, like I said, is really bizarre as well. Like the whole thing with MT Gox and like this mysterious person behind the creation of it, and the Bitcoin mining, exactly, what function does that play, and why do they want people to mine these things, and it just kind of like created out of thin air. But like I said, undoubtedly there's major issues with liquidity as well. There's been several times in the past where the Bitcoin exchange has been shut down. The whole Silk Road debacle. I'm not talking, when I say Silk Road, I'm not talking about the ancient trade route from Persia to China where they traded opium and silk. I'm talking about the one that were dealing illegal narcotics using the Bitcoins as well. Like I said, liquidity is definitely a major issue. I have a question for you out there. Has anybody personally bought any big ticket items using Bitcoin, like a house, a car? And if so, I mean, did you have any issues, or like were you questioned by anybody or the government, or did you have to fill out any paperwork or the IRS and so forth? And also, if you're like running a business or selling stuff, do you use Bitcoin, and like do you have an issue with the volatility on a regular basis? Spikes and so forth. How does it all factor in? I personally do not see a lot of people out there using this as a standard currency for the marketplace. I don't really see it ever, becoming mainstream. But maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? Like I said, it'll be very interesting to see, where this all goes in even 5 years, or even a couple years, actually. But ultimately, everybody needs to use their own discretion, and please don't be the one holding the bag on this. Use your head. In the past, I mentioned that I'm going to start. I started a PayPal account, and any contributions or donations you can provide for me, I greatly appreciate it. My account is mvfreedom1776@gmail.com. Again, M is in Michael, V is in Victor, freedom1776@gmail.com. I am starting to look to sell some stuff as well. Copper bracelets, trace minerals and elements. Also doing the psychic investigation services, where there's a lot of possibilities there. I have some gas bike prototypes I'm working on, so a lot of really cool stuff. And I hope that, like all this starts coming together, and I can keep coming out with some really interesting topics. I have some other new material I'm working on as we speak. And as always, thank you for tuning in to the Archangel 15.